Hey, yo, it's Q Rose, man. We back again, man. I want to talk about a couple things NBA related. We can talk about start off with um, play-in. We had some play-in games just passed. Some of the best basketball you can watch. Shoot, some of the best basketball. I think it was a great decision to have play-in games. It's been awesome. And now we got some championships coming on. Um, playing, no, I said playing championships. They's about to get the 1 and 2 seeds. So, bro, I got some games already decided. I think the Charlotte game coming up is a really big game. They're going to be playing the Orlando Magic. The reason why that's big is because Con Cadipple screwed the pooch on his Rookie of the Year campaign. I already thought Cooper Flag was the Rookie of the Year, but this right here, I think, solidified it in my opinion. If he has another bad game, there's nothing that solidifies it more. But I don't even understand how Kyle Knipple has gone in front at any point of Cooper Flag. It doesn't make sense to me. To me. I understand they say team success, but to me, that's saying that if you thought Cooper Flag was on the team instead of Concanipple, that they would have less success. In my opinion, that's what it's saying. Like, do you really think if Cooper Flag was on the Hornets with that roster, that they wouldn't be a better team? I think that's nonsense. I think we've fallen in love with what the three ball is, but at the end of the day, three ball is just points. So when you talk about things like records and things of that nature, yeah, Concanipple has hit the most 3 pointers of anybody. Um, he's led the league. Yeah, he led the league in 3 pointers. That's never been done by a rookie. He's beat out Steph Curry and all these guys' record for a rookie. But at the same time, guy averaged 18 points a game. Okay. At the end of the day, I think we've gone a little too far with this 3 point and what does that mean? 3 pointers made. I mean, at the same time, it's like if we're gonna talk about stats and 3 pointers made, at what point do we talk about and ones? Because Cooper has 3 point plays too, a bunch of them, but they're and ones, and it's like those don't. That's still a 3 point play. I think points are points at the end of the day. So to say this guy's a better player because he shoots a better 3 point percentage, and hits more threes, I think it's crazy. Cooper's leading this guy, beating this guy in everything, in points, assists, steals, blocks, rebounds. There's nothing he's not beating him in. And they have 47% versus 48%, shoot the same field goal percentage. Um, so I think it's hand down, it don't make no sense to me. It's just made no sense to me. Cooper Flag is the best rookie that we've seen since Luca. Um, I mean, Wemby was hurt a lot, but as far as any type of consistency, longevity, he's well over the 65 game threshold. I think Cooper Flag is by far and has proven it. And I think Concanipple not playing in that overtime, they need a 3 pointer at the end of regulation. He wasn't in the game. I think that says a lot for you to have the guy that hit the most threes in the NBA this year not in the game at the end of a game when you needed a 3 pointer. That says everything you need to do. I can tell you one thing. They took him out on defense and offense. Coop not going out on defense or offense. And I tell you one thing. No, Conklin a way better 3 point shooter as far as percentage and all that stuff go. If they need a three, Coop's not coming out the game. If Dallas needed a three, even on if he was on the Hornets, they need a three. He's not getting out the game. So I think that spoke volumes, and I think that should be, even though Coop's not playing in the play-in, I think this should be counted against Kyle Knipple. Just the same way they tried to count Coop's losses on his record. That's the same thing in my head. That's the same type of conversation. Like, that ain't got nothing to do. Coop not making the playoffs, the play-in ain't got nothing to do with Coop. Same way Con Knipple making the play-in ain't got nothing to do with Con. It's a team game. It's 16-man rosters, and a rookie coming in. These guys is averaging 20 points a game. You know what I'm saying? Coop averaged 21, but 20 points a game at most. What the hell does that mean in the grand scheme of things, bro? It's guys on that same team that's averaging more than him. So more than Continental. So, we already know if Kyrie was playing, he was gonna be averaging more than Coop. So I just think team success just doesn't mean the same thing when you're talking about rookie of the year campaigns of these type of guys. Um, with that being said, we'll talk about um, the Wemby versus SGA debate. Um, I think historically, if we're talking about historically, who should get MVP? Historically, it'll probably be SGA. I can't justify. How else would they justify giving Steve Nash the MVP over LeBron and Kobe and guys of this nature, averaging 15, 18 points a game, 10 assists a game? You know, how can we? That it's because he was the best player on the best team. There was guys that were way better. So SGA is the best player on the best team, even though the only guy that I think is, way better than SGA is Nikola Jokic. If we're talking about the baddest man on the planet, man, it's Nikola Jokic. It's not even a debate. It's not a debate. Don't go argue with your mama. He averaged the most assists and rebounds a game. We've never seen anything like that. Not to mention he's top 5 in scoring. He's having like 27 a game, 28 a game, something like that. That's not an argument. So if MVP meant best player, this wouldn't be an argument. It's Nikola Jokic. I think it should mean best player. If we talk my opinion personally, I think it should be the best player in the NBA. I mean, he's more valuable to his team. Um, he's the best player. How's the best? He's the best player on the worst team. He's a third seed. It's like they the top 3 seeds. We got SGA, Wemby, Jokic. That's Oklahoma City, San Antonio Spurs, Denver Nuggets. I mean, once you think about it, you know, it's really, I don't know. I think if we talk about most valuable to their team, it'll probably be Wemby, in my opinion. There's this team without Wemby. Who are they? I have no idea what this team would be or who they'd be. This team without Oklahoma City, without SGA. I mean, I think that's still a 50-win team. You know, so in terms of value, I mean, who's more? What's more valuable than a player like that? I mean, as far as between those two. Um, so I mean, I think Wemby's the most valuable player. If we're gonna talk about, the turnaround of whatever. Historically, you would have to say SGA, and best player literally would have to be Joker. He's the best player in the world. And quite frankly, bro, I think that he doesn't get as much love because of the team that he's on. He's on the Nuggets, and honestly, the Nuggets don't catch big fish. They've developed the fish that they've gotten. The biggest catch that they've gotten is what? Russell Westbrook. Come on, man. He was older Russell Westbrook. That's the biggest catch they've been able to get. It's not like Joker who doesn't want better players. They developed Aaron Gordon to a 3-point shooter and stuff like that he is. They developed Jamal Murray. They developed Christian Braun. They developed Bruce Brown. They developed all these players, and these players are able to flourish in a system that involves Nikola Jokic. So I'm a fan, but I'm a fan. Um, I think Jokic been the best player in the NBA for at least 5 years. And then before that, probably was Giannis. So uh, it'd be a hard thing to vote on. It depends on what you value most. You value history. Value history. You gotta make SGA the MVP. If you value just pure dominance, who's the best point blank period? It's Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic. But if you value team turnaround and impact on both ends, it's Victor Wembanyama. So um, I watched a game, the Charlotte game the other day against Miami, and Charlotte ended up winning in overtime. But in the second quarter, LaMelo Ball tripped Bam Adebayo while he was falling. Tripped him, hurt him. He was out for the game. That that should have been something, man. I don't know, man. I'm watching it, and if it's one of them situations where Bam if Bam doesn't get hurt, then do I think that this guy should be thrown out of the game or repercussions? Probably not. But he tripped him on purpose. He did get hurt. They lost the game. Now they gotta go home. They got kicked out the playoffs because of a play that LaMelo, a dirty play, I mind you, that LaMelo did that made Bam Adebayo physically not be able to play. So I think there was somebody I was talking to somebody. They were talking about LaMelo possibly being suspended. I'm as much as I want to see LaMelo play come next game. I have to be unbiased. I think that he should be suspended a game. He literally hurt somebody, you know, being dirty. Did he intend to hurt him? I don't. When people ask me, did he intend to hurt him? I'm like, what was his intentions though? If you're doing a dirty play, what are your intentions? Your intentions are to be dirty. So when someone gets hurt, it's because you were being dirty. Like I think that says it all. If you accidentally hurt somebody, but you wasn't being dirty, we ain't got nothing to talk about. But it was a result of you playing in an unsportsmanlike way that caused another team to lose out on its star. And now we got to watch the rest of the game without their star player added on top of that. So I think to me, it's clear as day that he should be suspended. Um, Something. Make him sit out a quarter or two. But I just don't think that you could not. I think you should be stripping players and you not be suspended. But you already know that with LaMelo comes viewership, and shoot, sometimes viewership just reigns supreme over everything. So I'm not a big fan of that. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't want viewership to reign supreme over morals and good basketball ethics. If LaMelo would have did me like that, I would have been wanting to fight. I swear for God, I'd been wanting to fight. I'd been wanting to physically have a physical altercation with LaMelo Ball if he did me like that. So, I we'll see how they play it. I think that it's obvious that they should get him out of here, but what do I know? I ain't playing. Um, I man, another play. Oh my goodness, the playing came last night. Man, that game got so late. I fell asleep on it. I had to wake up and rewind it and play it back. But it was the Warriors playing, and they had to play against Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. And Kawhi came out on fire. Steph came out on hush mode. He was quiet at first, and Kawhi came out on fire, man. But towards the end of the game, Steph got hot and Kawhi got not. Now, the reason why Steph got so hot, I mean, shoot, they was able to keep it low. Just they were able to keep the points low enough and keep Kawhi quiet enough. And the other team was doing good, but just to see Steph Curry be able to, at this point in his career, just affect games the way that he does, I'm excited that I'm excited for them. I want Steph and them to blow past the Phoenix Suns. Nobody wants to see the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. They're a waste of a playoff spot, and because they're gonna be playing OKC. OKC might sweep the Warriors. So I damn show I wouldn't even. I'd rather see OKC sweep the Warriors 4-0 than have to watch OKC beat the Suns 4-1. Okay, if that was that, but I just rather see a sweep and see Curry out there and see a team that has a chance. Draymond Green played excellent against Kawhi Leonard. Ah man, it's as much as the people don't like Draymond Green. There's a lot of times I don't be feeling what Draymond Green be on, but he's a specialist and he's an expert and a savant in his craft to be able to hold Kawhi Leonard down in this situation. Oh my goodness, it just means a bunch. You know, he's amazing at what he does, and although he does at times, bark a little big for the effect that he does on the offensive end. I think he's just at times he could be an okay player, nothing monumental. On that defensive side, especially with this NBA, he's a very dominant player. Um, to be able to move your feet and be that strong and be that size, you know, and have that type of instinct and understanding and awareness, it might be actually at this stage of his career, it's underrated. We've all know what Draymond Green has done defensively in the past, but this guy is is a top 10 defender still at his age. I think we have to take that into consideration, even though he is a lot to deal with at times. Um, now, I want to talk about Joel Embiid not playing last night. Now, Philadelphia won. Maxey, shout out Tyrese Maxey, DFW area. But they won, but it's Joel Embiid didn't play again. At what point is that just complete trash, complete and utter trash? Um, he didn't play again. That's I can't get down with that personally. He's supposed to be the franchise player. We'd see him play in games, whatever, but he's hurt during any meaningful games. Um, if you don't play and they lose, it's completely your fault. Now they won, so you get a chance to redeem yourself and whatever. But it's it's hard to watch. Let me say that it's hard to watch, and I'm not a fan of unavailability, especially this amount of talent. I can't get mad at him, say I'm not a fan of him, because his game he has a wonderful game when he's playing it. But he it's like every game you can already mark him off for half the games. Out of 82 games, 41 games, he's not going to play, and you can't build around that. Shoot, you can't even have that as an accessory, because then you're depending on something that's not going to be there. I think that's why even Dallas getting rid of Anthony Davis or Lakers getting rid of Anthony Davis. Anybody getting rid of Anthony Davis, that's what you came down to. This player is a wonderful player, great at all the things that they are good at, but it's like we build something and we get momentum, and then you're out for so long, and then we got to develop a new identity, and it's just like no, no. Um, it might be time for them come contract time. I don't see how Philadelphia just stays with Joel Embiid come contract time. If I was Philadelphia, I'd move off of him, and I'd move off of. Nah, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. It's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, man. Um, it depends on what he wants, but I think you got to build around Tyrese Maxey. Um, is he as good as Joel Embiid? Maybe not at the peak of his powers, but you got to build around him anyway. Okay, because if you build around Joel Embiid, we seen this process is done. It's not a process. This is a delay at this point. Um, so shoot, get out there and play his game, and I'm not gonna say nothing about him. Get out there and play his game. Um, outside of that, I mean, it's a lot of things that's going to happen this postseason. But as far as who has the most to gain and lose, there are some people who have a lot to gain. There's people who have a lot to lose. I mean, um, if 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 SGA and the Thunder win, I think SGA is solidified his name and legendary status, one of the top players ever played this game, and he'd be one championship away from a three-peat, which would seem like everyone's favorite. If he were to win it this year, he's the favorite this year. But if he would win it this year, he would be the favorite next year. And that's, three championships with a guard running the show. That's Michael Jordan type stuff. Like literally, that's Michael Jordan type stuff. It's and nobody done nothing like that since MJ. Um, even when uh, even when Shaq and Kobe played and they got the three champs in a row, that was Shaq running the show. Kobe close second. They were closer to Coles, but this already would be a guard running the show for certain, best player. Um, so I think as far as legendary status, that's he'd be getting there. Um, Luka career would be solidified if they won a championship. LeBron would add another notch on his belt for greatest of all time type numbers. Now you get him as an accessory. He was the best player winning a championship. Now he gets to be an accessory piece, second or third best player. Get him a Dwayne Wade when he played with LeBron type championship. And I think that's big. That's good. Um, if Wemby was to win a championship, it would reshape the landscape of the whole NBA and how people start moving. A lot more internal development. I think the intensity of basketball will go up if Wemby was to win, um, especially with the play style. He plays hard. He plays rough. He's not necessarily going for fouls and flops calls like SGA or even the foul bait that Luka does. Um, I think it would put some integrity in his game and force these guys to get better because they already allowing a 22-year-old to come in and win, and he's French, so that doesn't help the situation. um, if Boston were to win, I think it'd be. I mean, I think they. I mean, they. I think they. I think they start talking about um, dynasty talk. They win. Um, Sort of like OKC and them. There was a win again. It's just this would be just more of a more collected effort between Tatum and Brown. Um, Start talking about one of the greatest duos of all time. They win the championship. Um, I think and I think they'll have some validity, especially coming back off of an Achilles injury. Come back off Achilles injury, have Jaylen Brown lead y'all to the championship. There's even a chance that Jay Taylor will be healthier by then, and maybe he'll get the MVP of the East. I mean, of the championship if they was win this time. So I think legacy wise, as far as best duo all time, that would do a lot for them. I think if Denver wins championship, Nikola Jokic becomes. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, man. I think he starts touching that top 10 range if he wins a championship because he has as many as Hakeem, but his offensive stats are just way more domineering as far as Nikola Jokic has been the best player in the world for longer than Hakeem was. Hakeem probably had those 2 years Jordan was out, but outside of that, Jordan was best player in the league. Nikola Jokic was best player in the league. So we got to start. If Nikola Jokic is to win championship, we'd have to start having some uncomfortable conversations right now. Um, uh, Now we got those are the most realistic picks in my opinion. Those four. I think outside of that, I mean, Detroit win championship will be big for their city, big for Cade's legacy right now. But I think that's far fetched. I mean, but it's possible. I mean, Indiana almost won last year, so um, I think Steph getting to the championship would also have some uncomfortable conversations, but they'd have to beat the number one seed OKC, and we don't see that happening. I think Anthony Edwards winning would immediately push up to being the face of the NBA. That right there is a given. If Anthony Edwards win a championship this year, face of the NBA immediately next year. It ain't gonna be this because SGA won a championship. Everybody did this right here. So half people didn't want it. Um, I think the world is split on SGA the same way I see the world split on Luka. It's just people just don't like these guys, the game. SGA is definitely placed down. Luka, it's more so all the crying. He's definitely a crier. He's a a crier. Outside of that, I don't really see anybody being able to even do anything. Oh, well, as far as the Cleveland and the Clippers, well, as of now, shoot, it looks like Cleveland won the trade. They did what they was trying to do. Um, they're in the playoffs. James Harden is playing well. I mean, the Clippers was playing okay as well. They had the 10 seed, which is, 9 seed, which is they didn't expect to. I expect them to make playoffs the way they start off the season. But yeah, Garland voted for Harden. I already knew. To me, that's not even a question. I mean, Garland is a good player, really good player, but Harden is a much better player. So right now, so that was a future move. Had to be. So, but we're gonna see. I think they're gonna do well. My money's on Boston coming out the East though. So we'll see. All right, we talk some sports, man. All right, let's keep rolls, man.